All right, so once again, I'm live. Had a little lateness. I had a little thing, time zone difference. Miss Machado, she thought I meant 9 o'clock her time, but I meant 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Hey, how you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Just chilling. Sorry about that time zone thing.
Okay, I apologize.
No, no, it's on me actually because I'd be forgetting. 9 o'clock is 8 o'clock and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right, right,
Had a little
right.
had a little rainstorm. Well, not. Just rain unexpected. So by having rain unexpected, it kind of made me get back early when I was supposed to. I should have started about 30 minutes ago, but I said I'd just stick to 9. And then I realized you went on. I said, "Wow!" I said, "Something must be up." So I thought you probably asleep or something. But what's going on in East Saint? Well, first of all, go ahead and introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Marshata Caradine. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, and I'm a diehard educator.
Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, you've been on here before. Um,
Yeah.
what's going on in East St. Louis first?
Well, actually, I'm not in the East St. Louis school district. I'm in the Missouri school district. I'm in Normandy, and just what's going on um, around America when it comes to education and the influx of teacher shortages. It it's the what's going on inside the schools is the behavior of the kids, you know. But I can't really fault them because they're doing what they are told they can do. They're free, so and it's difficult to teach under these circumstances. So
Let's see. Okay, you
mhm.
said let's see. Teacher shortages, right?
Yeah, they're like everywhere though.
The, the ultimate list of teacher shortages by state in 2024.
Hmm.
What is the average teacher shortage by state? In 2023, there were 55,000 teacher vacancies, kindergarten to high school. 40% of public schools nationwide reported teaching vacancies. 63,000 teachers aren't qualified for their jobs, and an estimated 270,000 teachers and staff quit or retire across the country every year.
Hmm.
12% of teachers are only satisfied with their jobs nationwide.
But we have to
Okay, the
we have
states
to
are.
look at,
Go ahead.
go ahead. I was going to say we have to look at who's making up the teaching demographics, and they're white women majority.
Hmm. Well, the top 10 states with the highest teacher salaries are Nevada, Utah, Arizona, California, Florida, Alaska, Idaho, Ohio, Oregon, and Alabama. The lowest teacher shortages are Vermont, New Hampshire, North Dakota, New York, Missouri, Maine, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Nebraska.
Hmm.
So I say Missouri actually got one of the lower teacher shortages. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, but when it comes to us, teachers of color, we never made like salary a high priority. It's just here recently. Now we're thinking like them. That's our mentality. But I think African American teachers have always been the lowest paid, most definitely doing segregation, but they were still producing scholars, inventors, because that was not the goal. So now they're coming in with this being the goal, and it's like they can't teach if you're not in this certain income bracket, and that's not what we have ever been about.
Hmm.
So I
Um, yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so let's look at this from a deep perspective.
mhm.
This is Massachusetts, New Hampshire. 48% of teachers in Northeast. I'm looking for Missouri since that's where you at. Let's see if that even comes up on here. Rhode Island, smaller state with just over 1 million people. And unfortunately, far fewer teachers do the state retirement. Vermont. Teachers short in the Midwest, Illinois. All right, well, you in between Illinois and Missouri, so let's just start there. The
Okay.
state released information sharing that there were 3,558 unfilled teaching positions at the end of 2022. These vacancies span across Illinois' 170 districts, affecting 870,000 students. That's almost 1 million people. As a result, the state utilized over $6 million in federal funding to advertise and develop a statewide teacher recruitment campaign. All right, that's where you at.
Illinois. Mm-hmm.
All right. Missouri, here we go. A statewide report revealed 2,184 elementary education vacancies, 983 vacancies in special education, and 291 physical education vacancies. Dang, I could take that job myself. Of that, these total vacancies, only 4.4 were filled with less than fully certified teachers. Actually, I actually am certified in physical, personal training and nutrition, so actually I could actually take that job myself. But go ahead.
Hello.
You hear me?
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I did. What did you say?
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No, sorry.
Oh, let me say it again. A
Okay.
statewide report revealed 2,184 elementary education vacancies, 983 vacancies in special education, and 291 physical education vacancies. Of those total vacancies, only 4.4% were filled with less than fully certified teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. A, a, a lot of positions are basically the rotating cast of substitutes. So they're not, I guess, certified to be in these positions that they're teaching in. Their bodies in the building because they gotta keep the doors open. So, yep.
Mm.
Wait a minute.
Well,
Um.
let me ask you a question. I'm
Yes,
looking
sir.
at some things right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Richmond, Virginia, this last week, I should put it up on here, but I'm going to just toggle through here.
Okay.
There was a little discrepancy with the school because a lot of parents didn't know you had to have clear book bags. Now, you know what that's about, right?
Right.
Okay, what's your thought on that clear book bag thing?
Um. I don't. I don't like them, honestly. Because if you're not gonna do nothing about the crime that's in the community, I look at that as they're just only trying to appease and keep white women safe in our school. Because they can't be really caring about our kids because they live in crime-ridden communities. You know what I'm saying? So who are you fooling with that? And 9 times out of 10 in the hood, they're not bringing anything to school, no way.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We've never had any major mass shootings.
Yeah, I'm looking
Out of
at it.
all the ones we've had, they haven't really been, in the inner cities. A couple here or there, but we've had way too many that's in your much more predominantly white communities. So the only thing I can walk away with is they need to make white women feel safe in our schools with these clear book bags. So now I don't I'm not
Here we go.
supporting
I'm reading it
that.
right now. Clear book
Mhm.
bag make it easier for school officials to see what's inside the bag and helps prevent students from concealing weapons. In
Right.
addition, more students are also requiring students to use clear stadium bags when attending sporting events on school grounds. Now, this is not going on everywhere because I just found out when I was out DJing the event yesterday. Where was that, in Fredericksburg, Virginia? School is open back up out there, right?
Hmm.
Now, I don't know about the public schools, but this ain't going on in private schools all the way. I'm just letting you know.
It's not going on in public, affluent white schools, and that's where the mass shootings happen. They're not metal detectors in their schools. Never. But with us, it's like we have sat around collectively as a people and normalized this insanity, and that's what needs to be addressed. Why are we normalizing this? This is not what school should be about. You worry about now, who crazy, because sometimes these adults can act a fool too, and bring their little weapons and just spray us. It's like this is not what we do as a people. You know what I'm saying? And there's just like really no teaching going on. But we can just turn on the news and see that. You
Mm.
know, how do we get our babies back?
Okay, what do you think the success rate of a child in East St. Louis is? I mean, it's in Missouri.
What is the success rate?
Passing rate, graduation rate, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, everybody's passing because they've lowered the standards. Um, oh, I forget what, like the grading scale is just ridiculously low. Um,
The grading
like
scale of 84% is an A now to that stuff. Yes.
something like that. It's like where you do that. But like I said, when you look at who's dominating the profession, the teaching profession, they're making it easy for them. They don't want to confront the parents. So technically they just don't want to do their job. And they don't have to do their job. And so if you're able to pass a child and concur less if they can read, if they can, think, we're doing a disservice. And that's how I feel.
Okay. Now you know something that says, okay, enhancing safety and security, efficient bag check for promoting equality and inclusion. That's a bunch of nonsense. They
Nonsense.
want to protect unauthorized items, compliance with industry standards. So they have a lot of things, the reason why they want to implement this policy.
Okay, so look up those school safety grants that they get. Let's
Okay.
start with that. Because school safety grants are mighty large. So they're not really trying to dismantle it and end it and really get our babies the clinicians they need. Because those grants are, and you can look up any state and see the school safety grants. So they're gonna need this to keep going, to keep the money going, and it's just crazy. It's all crazy.
Oh, it came right up, didn't it?
Yeah, they like 200,000 and 300,000 for school
No,
safety.
wait. Well, look, I pulled up the wrong link, but it came up just, let's just say I'm in Virginia. It came up with Virginia, right?
Okay.
So let's just go to school safety grant in Virginia. I ain't even gonna read the whole thing because it's pretty much self-explanatory. But the state budget for Virginia is 18.5 million in state and federal funding towards safety and security grant public schools nationwide.
Mhm.
So this is the Virginia Department of Education,
Yep.
and you can
And
contact the Virginia Department of Education for it.
that's why I say we're normalizing it because it pays. You know, it's just too
All right,
much.
all right, you're in Missouri, so let's see how much Missouri. Oh, Missouri get $50 million in grants.
School safety grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or
they
that
ain't
school
trying.
safety reimbursement. Yeah, 50 million. Who the governor? Mike Parson?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got $50 million grant in 2023 on June 30th, 2023. Yep. Yep. It's right there. That's interesting.
So they need the behavior to keep going. They need them to do whatever they're doing. So that money can keep coming in. That's the only thing you can walk away with. That's the root. Because actually, our kids know how to act. They act right in certain teacher classes, and it's like we're selling them short.
What is your how about your students? How do they deal with you?
Oh, my students love me, and I love them. I mean, because I keep things 100 with them, and I'm big on teaching them who they are, our history. Although I'm not supposed to, I don't care. I teach them who they are and what our ancestors have done, and it's like they're really intrigued about it. Like what, So yeah, I. Cause see, I'm a sub, so I come in my own curriculum, and it's who they are and the truth about who they are. So
Well, 50 million in grants, that's a lot of money to be granted with some school safety program.
and it's still not safe. That's the part though, right there. And it's still not safe, you know. So I don't think any kid, your first person that you see is a police officer. Every day that gotta mess with your psyche, and then we send you out into a community that's toxic and filled with crime. Make it make sense. But I'm like, where are the adults in all of this? The black adults, where are we at collectively?
Mm.
You know?
Well, let me ask you a question. So I'm looking at
Hmm.
it right here.
Uh-huh.
What do you think would happen if this is a question, matter of fact, I'll pull it up on here later. Let me ask the question first, then I'll pull it up.
Okay.
So we were talking about come to think about it, I was talking to my dad today, and I was talking to a guy, and the guy said he went to school, to the same school my dad went to, which is called Armstrong High School in Richmond, Virginia. And they went there. They had to leave from Southside Richmond to go all the way to Armstrong because they called it what's that thing called busing. They didn't have that then. They were the school what they call it segregated, right? My brother
Okay.
and them. Now a lot of people supported Brown versus Board of Education. Some didn't. Unfortunately, some people, the family do. But
I don't.
I mean, you're not an advocate of Brown versus Board of Education, are you?
No, I don't support it. I think we need to go back to segregation.
There you go. Okay.
We did great things. Integration was the worst thing that happened for us. It benefited white people.
Yep.
We lost everything when we integrated. Everything.
Mm.
Because what our kids are facing now and why the teachers seemingly can't teach or is leaving education ain't got nothing to do with what was going on in the 60s. And those black teachers were still demanding excellence. They
And
were civil. I mean,
now,
no.
I want to bring up something about the 60s too, because a lot of people don't know this.
Hmm.
Okay. This Jim Crow thing is kind of misconceived because it won't happen everywhere. It's happening in certain states in the South, and it was happening in mainly Democratic districts. This won't even happen every year, everywhere. So my
Hmm.
thing with this Brown versus Board of Education thing, right?
Right.
Really, what you did was, like I just told you, it wasn't happening everywhere. Because some places, white and black folks going to school anyway, and these problems were not going on like they made it seem. This was a farce they made, but here's the problem: when they did that, that allowed them to cut. I wouldn't say tenured professors, but I would say teachers that had high standing and replace them with white and now even Hispanic, Russian, Asian, and so forth. I'm like, everybody getting a piece of the teaching tree now. I went to school a couple of weeks ago, and the principal is Hispanic now, right? So everybody getting the cream of the crop now.
But us.
Yeah, but us. You're right. Now, I will admit this. They have had down here in Richmond a lot of black women administrators on the school board, but nothing seems to get done. I'm just telling you.
Oh, black representation is not good all the time because we in those positions and we don't really advocate.
Yeah.
So we're pointless. I would think so.
Well, here's the deal. Let me pull up Richmond, Virginia here. Richmond, Virginia. Okay, Richmond, Virginia. Virginia School Safety Grant. Let's pull that up. Let's see. How much do Richmond, Virginia get by itself? They may not tell me that part.
No, that's public information. If they get it, it's going to pop up.
Well, here we go right here. Virginia schools receive $12 million in school security grants. This is on November 22nd, 2023. 483 schools, 98 school divisions were awarded funds that will help use to help keep students, faculty safe, and visitors safe.
Whatever. They cannot be worried about their safety. They're worried about the community.
Security guard card access and visit ID badges, surveillance cameras, security vessels, two-way radios, voice and two-way radio buses, the mass navigation and other security enhancements.
I wonder if the security, now, what you call them?
Let's see how much Richmond, Virginia got.
The metal detector. I wonder if they working. Because they have them, but they don't work.
This is Newport. News right here. Hold on a minute. Well, Norfolk City ain't getting them 51,000. Virginia Beach got 105,000. Virginia Beach is a lot of these things 75 to find out closer. Okay, well that's more like an hour away. You hear me?
Hello?
I don't know what they have. I don't know what they have.
I'm like, hello?
Yeah, the blackout. Yeah, I don't know what they have. But I was just saying, a lot of that stuff. One of the schools got thinking like, Norfolk got it. That's like about an hour away. But I see where you're going with it. How they, making all this money or getting money. Some of them schools only got like 51,000. Some of them won't get a lot, but still, Virginia Beach got a lot of money. And Virginia Beach is, come think about it, I've been there. If you go to Virginia Beach, a lot of us go there on vacation, but there's a whole lot of white people live in Virginia Beach. I'm just letting you know. And they are tight on security. They will, look, if you ain't acting right out there, they will get you off their goddamn boardwalk too. They back then. So
they need to be, they the violent ones, they need it.
Yeah, but yeah, you got a
Oh,
point. But they they got quite a bit of money in that area.
right.
But I understand where you're going with this. Now, do you think you saying you want to go back to segregation, right?
Yeah.
After 60 years, and matter of fact, this year will be 60
This year
years.
was 7.
Now, this will be 60 years since Civil Rights Act movement, since the Civil Rights Act
Okay.
of 1964
Hmm.
that Lyndon B. Johnson signed. Comes in with the Democratic National Convention in Chicago and all that other stuff going on. Right. So my thing is, by us knowing this, what are people going to do about it in these school districts? What is Teach for America going to do? What are the teachers unions going to do? And what's taking them so long to get their foot off the damn brake and get to the wheel?
Right. That's my question too. Because everybody know, but they just not moving.
Hmm. Well, okay. Let's get to the real deal here. I'm gonna break it down. You got politics in these teachers'
Mhm.
organizations. That's the reason why you don't get nothing done. Okay, let's be
Right.
real. You can't get nothing done. Look, this is about teaching. I shouldn't even be having to look up school security grant. This is about teaching. That ain't nothing to do with no damn teachers except talking about keeping them safe.
Right.
Now, I went to school. We had two big housing projects in Richmond. One of them got torn
Hmm.
down. One of them was Blackwell. Hillside is still up today, right?
Okay.
We had Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge, which is really more than women live around there, and we had another one, Jefferson. No, Jeffersonville. They went to Huguenot. My bad. They went to Huguenot, but and we had Malofa Village across the street. That's still there, but they changed it to some other name. You know these apartments, they changed the name and all that other stuff. They put gates around it and all that crap. Now the city ain't the school is I call it George Whip. They call it Richmond School of the Arts now. Now they've been making a new football field and all this stuff. They weren't even doing that stuff, when I was coming up. Matter of fact, the Hispanics go to the high school now. That's another thing, yo. Think about it. Almost 20 years later, since I
Hmm.
graduated, that's how it is now, right? But check this out. We had that going on. All this stuff I'm talking about. And until we had a guy get killed on out there, I think he was out there hustling or whatever. Um, the night before school, I mean the night, and then we went to school and they used metal detectors, but they weren't doing it. We had all these children going to school with us from all these house and we didn't have all this stuff you talking about going on,
Uh-huh.
and that was 20 years ago almost. So what the hell happened?
Uh the shift of teachers,
Okay,
the shift of teachers changed. When we had, well, I don't know about your school, but when we were segregated and we had black teachers and they lived in the black community, they produced something different. They had the highest thing. Not only were they our teachers, they brought their experience, their history, and they knew from whence they came. So it was nothing that they future could not do. And then after what I say about 20, like you say, about 20 something years, that's when the Teach for America and all that came into our schools. That's when the shift started happening in our schools. And now we're here. It's like, get them out. I don't understand why we see the failure. We know they're incompetent and we have not gotten up together and said, you got to go. Why do they have to teach our kids? It should
Okay.
not be an automatic or a given that they're in our classrooms, because only thing they're doing is hurting our kids. What I was talking to you about earlier, part of the week or whatever, suicide rate. Why are little kids killing themselves? We have to ask those questions, because the bulk of early childhood teachers are white women. So I'm tying all that together. What does a
Well,
little baby, a 5 or 6 year old know about that? And we don't. We made it through a whole lot of stuff. We don't kill ourselves. We just don't. So, and that's something we need to address.
okay, let's see something here.
Thank you.
I want to pull up something for you here. Yeah, let's do it like this. Yeah, let's pull it up. I'm gonna play this video, right?
Okay.
And after I'm done, I'm gonna do 2 segments here. Matter of fact, might do 3.
Okay.
The first one, maybe the first 2, gonna be teacher shortages because I just was in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
now. But teacher shortages, and then I'm gonna go back into YouTube again and ask why there's so many teacher layoffs. You're getting all this public
Okay.
money, so it shouldn't be that many layoffs. You're getting all this public money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody making a lot of profit here.
For sure.
Let's see.
I would say for the past decade, there's been a drop in teachers staying in the district, yet there's been an increase in students. Charter schools, charter school expansion, racial disparities between students and teachers, teacher preparatory programs, the cost of them, salaries. Those are some of the things that in the pandemic, I'd say that as one of my last reasons, because it only exacerbated all the inequities that were already there.
We've been predicting teacher shortages for many years now, and a lot of teachers have stayed in the profession. And then when COVID hit, they became more like healthcare workers. They were removed, from doing a lot of the things which brought them into teaching to begin with. Some of the things the teachers were saying, we're drained, we're demoralized, we have an increased workload. There's greater demand from parents. There's new legislation and school district policies that are telling us what to do. The compensation is not on par with the kind of professional work and expertise that we do, that we're prepared to do. So all of these constraints, this lack of autonomy, are also issues why people are leaving, because they feel like they're not respected as professionals.
I loved working there. When I first came, it's a small school, and I love that feeling of a small school. It's in Philadelphia, so the population is like really diverse, and I get to like meet all kids from different walks of life, and I love that. Building relationships with them. I truly like put myself fully into the school and the building and the students and everything. And it progressed great for a while. The pandemic definitely brought out a lot of voices in education, a lot of what teachers should do and shouldn't do. I've never had complaints. And suddenly, I don't like this assignment. I don't like that assignment. I think you ruined kids because you were lazy and you stayed at home. Like, I would have never chosen to go virtual. I don't think any teachers would, or most anyway. And also, we came back to our classrooms in a new political climate as well. This cultural fight. After seeing that we were heroes in the beginning of the pandemic for like 5 minutes, we were heroes. And then we were lazy, we were indoctrinating kids, we were groomers. Like, seeing all this rhetoric definitely makes you clam up a little bit and like feel less authentic and start to wonder, like, what will I say that will get me in trouble now? The teachers don't feel safe in their classrooms, and then if you don't feel safe, how can you provide that environment for your students as well? So we came back to not a normal, like, we didn't come back to normal. We came back to a new way of life that wasn't great for teaching and creating a safe environment for students. And so I started thinking about leaving, and it was hard because I loved it. I loved it so much. And it was like heartbreaking to have to make the choice to leave.
You know, we're a humanistic profession, right? Lifelong learning. We believe that, you know, everyone can make it. Policymakers really don't understand a lot of what we do, how we do it, what our philosophies are. And we probably need maybe more teachers to be on school boards, because they're not in the weeds. They don't know what's happening at the level of what a teacher is doing. Well, I'm definitely optimist, and I think I see things mobilizing in many different ways on many different levels, and I think it's going to get better. I really do. I think there's going to be better PR about teachers based on the national organizations that I belong to, because they're working on that. I think there are going to be more incentives for teachers. I think salaries are going to rise, maybe not a lot, but enough to maybe attract more. I'm hoping that, you know, that we will be able to develop some better partnerships with schools.
This is my calling. This is my calling. This is what I do. But at the same time, it is at a great compromise to my personal life. There's been many days where I just said, I can't do it anymore. You know, where I felt like it's been very difficult days when I've just felt like back to the wall. What am I going to do? But then your students do something for you, like make you a video out of nowhere to tell you how much they love you, right? These are things that happen to me. I don't want to get emotional, but these are things that keep me. You know, it's my work, you know, that I want to be judged by when I'm no longer here. You know, the things that I've been able to do as an educator, and the people I've been able to impact, the families I've been able to make a difference in their lives. I know my efforts are far-reaching. I would say for the
I'm Katie Legrone.
All right. Your thoughts on that one, right?
The last speaker, yes, that is me all day long. I quit teaching every year. Those other teachers, I am confident they did not get into this education to really heal, mend, love, and then teach. Okay. Like I said earlier, we get into education for a total different reason. Like the last speaker said, it's a calling, you know, and we don't have a problem with teaching children, not just Black children, because we are nurturing and all of that, and they feel safe in our spaces. Those people, once those student loans start getting paid, I don't care if they was in the middle of a lesson, they was gone. See ya. You know, so they never got into education for the right reason from the get go, you know, and it's it shows. You know, we're seeing the fruit of it.
Mm, you got a point, man. And with that one, I agree. Now I got another one right here from Metro Atlanta, right here. So I'm gonna play this one too, and then I'm gonna get to the layout spot.
Okay.
More money for teachers, but it may be too late as some metro districts face growing educator shortages. Atlanta News First investigator Sierra Cummings found many local teachers now working second jobs to pay because of low pay.
doing something else that maybe I didn't like so much, wasn't as passionate about, money wouldn't be a thing.
Danielle Cummings can often be found in her car, but not in her DeKalb County classroom. Although she started teaching 9 years ago, it was the past 2 that were different.
I started doing Uber and Lyft. As a teacher, unfortunately, we're still like waiting on the end of the month and the 15th. And I mean, that's sad, but that's a constant like thought.
That's weekly pay cycle for the DeKalb County School District. Danielle takes on extra jobs from ride sharing to photography whenever and wherever she can. By no means did Danielle expect to get rich from teaching.
You're passionate about your work.
However, the benchmark expectations and testing challenges have exponentially changed the workload for Georgia educators. The pay has not.
A rubber band can only stretch so much, before it breaks. And the money doesn't compare to the work you do at all by a long shot.
In 2020, the state passed its largest teacher pay raise in Georgia's history, an 8% increase, according to this legislative report. But that only came after there were no pay raises from 2015 to 2019. The National Education Association's latest study found average educator pay failed to keep up with inflation, claiming currently teachers are making $3,644 less per year than they did 10 years ago, adjusted for inflation. That same report ranks Georgia as the 41st in the nation for average teacher starting salary, not even $40,000. A second job, the only solution for some, an issue Danielle says district and state leaders need to know.
Do you think if they knew that reality, they would want to do something about it?
I would hope so.
We're not serious about education in this state.
Teachers Union President Verdalia Turner.
Most people, and I hate to say this, in their right mind would not even seek to teach.
As the leader for Georgia's chapter of the American Federation of Teachers, or AFT, Turner surveyed her local members. She says the majority now have side hustles.
Teachers are tired. They are waitresses. They do Uber. Some of them are receptionists. Many of them work in stands at stadiums. I've met teachers who actually clean houses. Teachers do all sorts of jobs in order to just try to make ends meet.
But the union also notes is why some are leaving the profession altogether. Atlanta News First investigates analyzed data for teacher shortages across the metro. The last 4 years, vacancies climbed to triple digits. This year, Clayton County has the greatest need, 178 educator positions unfulfilled. Just after it, DeKalb County with 120 vacancies. Numbers unlikely to change without stronger pay incentives.
It's just necessary in this economy. It could be tiresome and exhausting because you want to go in there, refresh. You want to go in there, being able to give your all and from a full cup. So you want to be able to, do that.
Atlanta News First investigator Sierra Cummings joins us live at the Fulton County Board of Education. And Sierra, these are important figures in our children's lives. Any chance local teachers will see raises for metro districts?
Well, here at the Fulton County Board of Education next week, they have their next budget hearing where they will talk about teacher pay incentives. So that's something we'll be watching. As far as the statewide budget, that takes effect this July, and teachers will begin to see that $2,500 pay bump per year. We're live in Sandy Springs. Atlanta News First investigates.
Yes.
Now, let me say something about this. I just was in Sandy Springs, Georgia, probably about 3 weeks ago, right? All right. A lot of businesses in Georgia. I would say that a lot of traffic at best.
Right.
All right.
Well,
now
let
me get to the good part. My thing is, they said they got $2,500 pay increase, so they're letting you know this is about money. This is about them getting some money greasing these pockets.
Yeah,
that's what that's about.
I agree. I was talking to my daughter earlier, and I was saying, I was just reflecting over the teachers that I had, and I am confident they knew their worth. They understood that they deserved more. And what they gave, clearly they was not compensated for the level of teaching that they provided. But they stayed in those same seats for like 30 years because it was never about the money. It's about making sure my future got everything they needed to be the humans that we know that they should be. Period. Now, give us $4 or $5 more. We out the classroom. We're doing, we're coaching now. So when you're leaving the classroom to be a coach, that means the teacher you're coaching is not giving the student anything because you're coaching them. Make it make sense, But I don't know. It's
Now,
it's more than
now let me pull this up. Because I got two big articles right here. This kind of one of them kind of misleading, and the other one like, okay, you know what, could be true. I mean, it ain't true because they talking about diversity and watch this. Which one I want to pull up first? One of them. Let me pull up the more recent one.
Tonight, the CBS Evening News will take a look at America's shortage of black male teachers. According to one study, just one teacher of color in the 3rd through 5th grades can lower the dropout rate 39% for a student of color.
But black men only make up 2% of teachers in this country. CBS News correspondent Jim Axelrod joins us now with a preview. And Jim, you looked into the fact that there.
Now, let's just stop right there. 2%. 2%. Yeah. You said 2%. Okay.
Yep.
Now look, I'm just, like you said, the majority of them white women, right? As you said, right? Okay. Now, they ain't even white men that's the majority. So how in the hell did we get so bad to 2%? That's terrible.
It is. But a black man in the classroom just come in with a certain kind of demand about him. And then white women, they threaten about that. They like them to be school resource officers, security guards, or police officers. They like that because they're protecting them. When they come in as teachers, they feel quote unquote threatened by them. Because black teachers don't play with these kids. I got to deal with America, and you think I'm gonna come here and deal with a child? No. And they come in, not rude or anything. It's just like we come here about business, and you're gonna learn. I know there's nothing wrong with you. Kind of like the black teachers. They love us black teachers too, cause we they buddies. Cause when they 4 or 5 kids, they get on their nerve, they bring them to our classrooms. They call the buddy system. So we know our kids. It's absolutely nothing wrong with our kids. I was telling my students, I said, we haven't had so many acronyms in all our life as black people. ADHD, BD, LD, all these craziness. I said, let's go back to the apology that the APA gave blacks about our mental state. Because that organization is responsible for these teachers that's in our school buildings, social work, psychologists, who is falsely diagnosing our children. Because there's nothing wrong with our kids. But they got all kind of acronyms. Like, I look at these people like, can y'all just go back where you came from?
But well, look, let me keep going. You got a point there. Right. This already sounds good. There
is a shortage of teachers of color around the country. Why is that so important?
Well, Jessica, think about the number that you and Dick were just talking about. So you're talking about one student of color being exposed to just one teacher of color in the 3rd through 5th grade, reducing the chances of that student dropping out by up to 39%. So that's a significant consequence of being able to have more teachers of color in the classroom. The problem is the second number you were giving, such a small number of our national teacher pool is actually male teachers of color. So what do? Tonight, on the CBS Evening News on Eye on America. We profile a program in Philadelphia that has national implications because it could easily be implemented in places like New York, Houston, San Francisco, all over the country. The approach is proving effective.
Of course, Jim, the big question always is, well, if it's proving effective, why hasn't it already gone to these cities?
That'll bring us to Sharif El-Mekki, who runs the Center for Black Educator Development in Philadelphia. That's who we're going to meet tonight on Eye on America. And he is recruiting young, talented, promising students, college students of color, and they may be pre-law, they may be pre-med, they may be engineering majors. And he's saying, hey, wait a minute, have you thought about teaching? And then he trains them and helps place them in classrooms around Philadelphia. And they are seeing the increase in teachers of color in the classroom, which gets right back to how we started this conversation. That has a pressing problem with a thoughtful and effective solution. We'll show you more tonight on Eye on America.
It's
Let me say something. I'm be there. Oh. I didn't know she was gone. Okay, maybe she got kicked off. But yeah, you're right, Dawson. What the hell is a color? Teacher's a color, right? I don't agree with neither. But that's what they're saying. So, you know.
Next.
You know, though, I'm a little perturbed about the stuff going on here. But I do understand. They say it's 2%. %2 is very bad, if anything. I mean, but that's where we're at right now. I mean, unfortunately. And I don't think these engineering majors are coming back down. So I don't know about Miss Marshata, maybe her phone died or maybe something happened, internet issues. I'm not sure. But let me play my next one because I want to get to the bottom of this whole outfit here.
Tonight, as we reach the end of the school year, school districts are bracing for a massive round of teacher layoffs. Schools have already been dealing with declining enrollment and inflation, but now federal funding passed during the pandemic is set to expire. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, school districts from coast to coast bracing for possible teacher layoffs, as opposed to continue. Tensions running high in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Dozens rallying against the school board's decision to cut teachers.
Say, when will we know if this is going to happen, and do it directly and clearly so I can go to sleep tonight?
In Hamburg, New York, district leaders approving a budget that includes layoffs for 20 employees, including 13 teachers.
The last thing in the world we want to do is lay off a single teacher, a single maintenance mechanic or custodian or teacher aide. We need to make sure that our revenues, our enrollment, our staffing are all in balance. And this budget does that.
And in Los Angeles, America's second largest school district, mounting concern for what budget cuts could mean for the city's teachers and students.
It's unfortunate and disappointing.
A critical factor in some of these budget battles, $190 billion in federal pandemic relief funding approved in 2020 and 2021 that some districts used to bolster their staff, now set up to dry this September.
The federal funding is coming to an end this fall. Another reason is increasing inflation costs and costs of things like healthcare and education. And another reason is declining student enrollments in our K-12 public school systems. So this kind of combination of factors has really created the perfect storm.
And Rachel, experts say students in lower income districts could feel the brunt of these layoffs. But look, this fight is far from over. The National Education Association, the country's largest labor union, is demanding that federal, state, and local leaders come up with a solution that serves both educators and their students.
All right. This is basically about teacher layoffs. What are your thoughts on teacher layoffs that are going on across the country?
I'm glad. They need to be laid off.
Okay.
These are some teachers that shouldn't be in the classroom.
Well, they fighting hard.
You know, one thing probably the only thing I could agree with Donald Trump when he said so much money is being poured into the Department of Education, and look at what they're not doing. I'd say all the time, what is not going on inside of our classroom is a direct reflection of what is going on within our communities. Our teachers taught. They didn't care what your mama didn't do or did do. Once you came into their classrooms, they were held accountable for what they produced. And so, yeah, they need to be laid off.
I got a question.
But see, it's an influx of homeschoolers. Black people are choosing to homeschool now.
So do you think we should get rid of the Department of Education?
I didn't hear you.
Do you think that the Department of Education might need to be disbanded or something like that, maybe?
Why not? I mean, for those of us that have gone to college, we the underemployed. Well, I mean, what does it do?
Yep.
Teach us our history. Teach us what we did when we could not read or write at all. And then we'll begin to look at ourselves differently.
Well, let me ask you a question about this. Because we were talking about the Brown versus Board of Education, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, right?
Yeah.
You said you hated it, right? You said you hated the Brown versus Board. You wish everything would have been segregated, all that, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Because you were telling me when you sent me something back in 2019 about kids, black kids committing suicide at rates that probably haven't been seen. I told you I had a 12-year-old child that a friend of mine, family, they ended up, I think the funeral was the day for the child, matter of fact. Could have been the day, I'm not sure. But I did tell you about the 12-year-old killing his self because he felt his mama didn't love him. Okay, because I'm going to go to an article about these black children killing themselves, suicide and all that. Do you think it could be the abuse they face in the classroom, these teachers as well?
Almost definitely. I mean, to treat our kids as though, I'm sorry for this, to treat our kids as though they are not aware of what's going on in their environment, to see how these white cops are able to kill black people, I would say their loved ones, and nothing is done. To have to see them every day, you know what I'm saying? And it's no telling what they're saying to our kids, because now our kids have so much autonomy, should I say, so much control over themselves. But once they get through telling them and talking to them and entering their spirits, that's it. And like I said, the 5-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds, we don't do that in our culture. We just don't. That's not who we are. We never normalize in our kids.
Well,
but
I'm gonna get you to answer this one. You got a daughter, right?
Yep, 2.
So, like I said, I can't. I'm gonna just pull this up and you tell me.
The family this morning, a new study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry shows that suicide rates of black children and teens is steadily rising. Now, Lauren Carson is the executive director and founder of a group called Black Girls Smile, an organization focusing on black female mental health awareness. She says there are 2 main factors behind this rise in these troubling numbers. The first is adultification. says black girls are being treated more as adults than teens. And the second, violence and trauma.
These are things that impact our mental health and well-being and can definitely lead to warning signs and risk factors associated with suicidal behavior.
Now, to reverse the statistics, Lauren says there needs to be a conscious effort from adults who work with black children, like teachers and mentors, to better understand and recognize the warning signs and symptoms of mental health difficulties.
All right, that's the girls. All right, let's start with the girls. Since that's the first one they brought up. That's a lot of young girls killing themselves at 12 and 14 years old. What's going on here?
We can't do nothing but zero back in on the paradigm shift of teacher population, because the stuff that they name, black women and girls have been adultified forever. It's nothing new. Everything they named in that video is nothing new. But see, I think they're trying to process the fact that they live in two Americas. You know what I'm saying? Because see, on the one hand, they're told and made to believe that they're free, they can do whatever, they can say whatever, yada yada. Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't. No, I just pulled the video up.
Oh,
I mean, you keep going. I just pulled the next video up. But matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna come back behind you. Let me go ahead and play it, because this ain't nothing but a minute long in it. Because I want to bring in something on this, because this is what this going the exact topic I just talked about. Watch this. We're gonna break it down at the same time.
In yesterday's final thought, I advocated for everyone to be treated as if their life mattered. And today, we see one of the nasty consequences of society denying that your life does. A new study from Nationwide Children's Hospital has revealed that the suicide rate among black children between the ages of 5 and 12 is roughly 2 times higher than that of white children in the same age group. Now, another study co-author, Dr. Jeff Bridge, director of the Center of Suicide Prevention and Research at Nationwide Children's Hospital, said there's very little research about suicide in black youth. Most of the studies that have looked at risk factors for suicide included mostly white suicide. Now, some theories for the change include less available mental health resources, exposure to violence, and broken families. But until we can pinpoint exactly what the cause is of the numbers jumping, one thing we can do is pay attention to our children and seek professional care for them at the first sign of risk. Now, it's heartbreaking to think that children that young would even consider finding a permanent escape from their pain. But as in the case of 12-year-old Seed School of Washington student Stormaya Denson Jackson back in January, there are children right here in the district who desperately need our help. So please listen to all your children. Look for the signs of depression, mood changes, hopelessness, and anxiety in their actions. If they actually talk about killing themselves, take it seriously and get help immediately. And to any kids watching, your life does matter more than you can ever know.
Okay, now hold on. Listen. Now pull up black preschoolers, black male preschoolers, the highest I think expelled group in America.
Preschoolers, black preschoolers okay. Let's see if they come up through video. If not, I had to pull up through the way up black preschoolers. Black preschoolers.
Oh yeah, type in black
expelled, right?
Expelled. No, suspended. I'm sorry, suspended.
I mean that's on the path to expulsion, but okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then
I'm gonna pull this up.
Huh?
I found it. Hold on, I found it. I found this one. Let me pull this up.
Then we got
this is very
push out. Push out is the for black girls. The school to prison pipeline. So when you start unpacking this,
more than you think.
Michigan Department of Education say that's a big problem.
7 Action News reporter Naya Harden shows us who this is affecting and how the state is trying to tackle this problem.
The stats are real. Across the board, preschool suspensions are up. And according to a study, nearly 50% of Black preschool students are suspended. And providers here say they see it firsthand. Preschool. It's the first step a child takes into education. But a study by the Civil Rights Data Collection shows an ugly truth. Black preschool students are being suspended at a high rate.
There's so many different reasons. We've had children who have been to at least 3 other daycares.
At this point, I'm not.
Tomorrow's Star in Southfield says they know it's a problem because parents are bringing those students to them.
We're constantly getting people coming here over and over again. It's nonstop. Now our facility is full. And it's because I think a lot of preschoolers and or even toddlers are getting kicked out of childcare. And it's hard for these parents to go to work and try to survive without having someone watching their children.
Here are the facts. Black preschool students are 3.5 times as likely to receive a suspension as white preschool students. Out of the students enrolled, 20% are Black girls in preschool, and more than half have been suspended.
That's scary. I wouldn't want my child to be suspended that early. It's such an early age for preschoolers, and the fact that they're getting suspended like that, it's got to be a problem somewhere.
The big question is why.
No parent wants to come to a facility and say, well, my child was kicked out of this facility because of his or her behavior.
It's not necessarily the other child care's, fault. It's just the child is maybe bored, or maybe, the caregivers are not exactly trained.
Caitlin Farrick with the Michigan Department of Education agrees.
We know that in some of our communities like Detroit, Flint, other places, there are kids who experience a lot of trauma and other issues around not having enough to eat, housing insecurity, and that manifests in the classroom.
While it's not against the law to suspend a student, Caitlin says the department issued a statement and guidance to preschools.
It's not a law or a regulation. It really is out there to, make people aware of this issue.
I think a lot of people go into childcare and, or teaching, and then they don't have that care and compassion and love, because it's a high stress job. It really is.
Caitlin says the department is working on building a data system to track these numbers in Michigan. And their focus is on preschools getting the help they need to avoid going to the extreme.
It's really important to us to make sure that their first experience is a positive one, because that really sets the trajectory for their kindergarten through 12th grade and hopefully college experience.
We're just happy that we're here to help, and that's what we're here to do. And I hope that other centers would do that too.
Tomorrow Star says usually a child is given several warnings and then is written up 3 times before being expelled. This normally happens when a child is harming other students or teachers. Naya Harden, 7 Action News.
I'm so shocked.
Well, that's a lot right there. So
it is.
Now I will say this before I leave. I see you trying to do a lot of things. You told me a couple weeks ago you quit and then you're back in. Just tell me about the experience of that real quick.
I quit every year. I do. But I know they need somebody like me in the building, because I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak out, and they need somebody to advocate on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? And support them. We love to say culturally competent and incompetent teachers. I don't believe in none of that, because if you do something to a dog, they would turn big red and show you just how compassionate they can be. They choose not to be compassionate and caring towards our kids. They don't need training. They don't need professional development. They don't need none of that. We don't need it. They don't need it. Because like I said, if you do something to an animal, you will see all kind of emotions coming from them. And they can choose not to show that and give that to our children. And I think we're such an intuitive people. Our children are as well. And they can walk in a room and sense if they're welcome or not. It's nothing wrong with our kids. Poverty is no money. That's it. That's it. I just can't go to the mall and shop like I'm crazy. We got everything else everybody else have except money. So we need to come into the classroom in that same manner. These kids are ready to learn anything. Look at the crime. You got to be smart to do the stuff that they doing. They just have nobody to channel it in the right way. So
you're right. Well,
that's where I am. That's where I
I
am.
will say this. Well, I'm glad you're trying to do the work for the students. I do appreciate that. Children sense energy. They feed off your energy.
Right.
So by you having energy or what you're trying to do, the efforts are not futile. But you're gonna have a lot of opposition, even from people that look like me and you.
Yeah.
That will try to get in the way because they're trying to get their palms greased.
Yeah. Dr. Carter G. Woodson saying, people like us, we're not wanted inside this school building. But I'm like this. But before I go, kids, that's me. But before I go, because they might just kick me out. But I'm going to plant this seed. And it's up to you to research it and let others come behind me and water it. But I'm going to plant the seed before I go.
Well, yeah, well, just keep on planting seeds. And that's what we got to do. We got to plant seeds. And we have to let them know that you're, like I said, I mean, my buddy, I told you about the child killed, dying at what age? I think I said 12 or something like that. And then but this thing actually, just by pulling it up, this thing going all the way to 5 years old. So, right. So it's got a long way to go. Unfortunately, I will be honest. I tell people, don't get your hopes up because this stuff got to get worse before it get better because you got to see the bottom almost fall out. Change this stuff, and you ain't changing this stuff in one night. Matter of fact, you ain't changing in 1 year. It can probably, I mean, I hate to tell you, it might take decades with all the other stuff going on. But I do appreciate you, Miss Marshata, for coming on once again. I know that school starts here in Richmond, Virginia. Public school starts on Monday. Used to start Labor Day, now it starts on Monday, but that's another story. But just in September, school will be really in session. Things will be kicking up. You know your curriculum probably already. So come back in September, right?
Okay.
And give me the rundown of what's going on in Missouri. I keep saying East St. Louis, but it's actually Missouri where you're in. But you live in East St. Louis. I get it. It's so close right there. Just like you go out of Chicago and you ride into Gary, Indiana. So it's like it's like that. That's how East St. Louis is. If you look at it in the geographics, it looks right there, and then you just ride into Missouri right beside you.
Right.
But thank you for coming on once again. Take your time and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.